And welcome to the Thursday night AngryMarks.com Pro Wrestling and Mixed Martial Arts podcast. My name is Stevie J, and I've got two co-hosts on the line tonight. First up is Jason Harlan, a.k.a. The Great Sudoku.
How's it going out there, Angry Marks? We got an exciting show for you, so stay tuned.
Indeed. We're going to talk New Japan, we're going to talk WWE, and we're going to call a special guest. But before that, I also have to introduce my other co-host, Jordan J. Garber.
How is everybody doing tonight from around the world, listening live, whether you're at home, whether you're at work, in your car, wherever? You guys are listening to Jordan J. Garber live on AngryMarks.com. It is great to be here again for another great week of professional wrestling talk. Before we do call our guest, rest in peace, Gabe the Beta. Just leave it at that. He was awesome. Loved that fish. But let's move on to topics tonight. Tonight's going to be a great show.
Indeed. And now, without further ado, we're going to bring our special guest in. You may have already heard her on Wrestling Observer Live. She did an appearance on there about a week ago, but tonight she's joining us on AMP. So we're going to call Brandy Dawley of the Pillow Fight League right now.
Hello?
Hi, is this Brandy Dawley?
It is.
Hi, this is Stevie J from Thursday Night AMP. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, and I've got two co-hosts on the line. I'll introduce them both to you before we continue with the interview. Jason Harlan, a.k.a. Great Sudoku.
Hey, Brandy, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I had a question for you right off the bat. Just searching your name on Google Images came up with a picture of a woman in a Star Trek uniform. Is that you, or is that a different Brandy Dawley?
That is probably me. Red hair?
Alrighty. Yep, red hair.
Beverly
Next
Crusher
generation
outfit?
style. Yep. Definitely.
Yep,
Yeah, I was just
I'm a cosplayer as well, so.
I was watching Voyager before we went to air here, so I'm a huge Trekkie myself, so we'll have some stuff to talk about.
The man to my left, Jordan J. Garber.
Well, Brandy Dawley, nice to meet Jordan J. Garber. I am with VOC Nation and, of course, AngryMarks.com. And, yeah, let's do this show. It's going to be awesome. Let's do it up, guys.
All right.
Right off the bat, let's get the backstory of the Pillow Fighting League. And some people misunderstand that this is a shoot and not a work. And I want you to explain the rules and explain how it all got started.
So, basically, how I got started with the Pillow Fight League was, several years ago, I went to one of the matches. And I know exactly what you're thinking when you hear the phrase Pillow Fight League, because it's exactly what I was thinking. I thought I was going to go see, some frilly bikini-clad lingerie models hitting each other lightly with pillows and giggling. Well, I was blown away when I went to the first match because it was brutal. It's kind of a mix of roller derby, MMA, and MMA with the theatrics of wrestling, but it's real fights. None of these are staged, and I don't know if you saw some of the clips online, but they get pretty rough. They get fairly violent. And I loved going to games, and then a few years ago, the league folded, and I got in touch with some other big fans of the league, and we banded together, and we bought the league, and now we're trying to restore it to its former glory. So that's where we are.
I want to delve a little further into the way the rules are in Pillow Fight, because as you said, this is real. People really do get hurt, but there, just like mixed martial arts, there is some rules, there is some sanctioning behind it. So, for example, jokingly off the air, one of my co-hosts said, you could really do some damage if you loaded up a pillow with a foreign object, but I assume that's disallowed in PFL.
Yeah, that's definitely against the rules. Now, the old PFL had a set of rules that were pretty great, but we didn't buy a functioning league. We bought a concept. We bought the logo. We bought the right to say we're putting on PFL 67. So we're rebooting everything from the ground up. And yes, you have to use a certain type of pillow, which is provided to our fighters. They get checked before, the fight begins. Like I said, the pillows are provided. We also provide safety equipment. All contact has to be made through the pillow, which sounds like it might be kind of boring until YouTube some of the old matches and you see how creative some of our athletes were with that role. But we're doing a few things differently. For example, we're adopting weight classes to make sure that everything is as safe and fair to our athletes as possible. And we're going to run some, basically dress rehearsals. And if you donate, this is one of our perks on our crowdfunding campaign, you get to actually be some of the people sitting in the stands for these dress rehearsals. And we're going to work out some of the rules that we're not 100% sure of. Like, for example, should our athletes wear shoes? Should they be barefoot? What's going to be the most entertaining? What's going to be the safest? And we're going to run through a few tryouts. We're going to let our athletes weigh in. We're going to let our safety commission weigh in and then figure out from there.
All right, well, that leads to a couple more questions based on the fact that it's all in flux right now and you're rebuilding it and developing the rules as you go. So what exactly is the combat arena that you envision? Is it like a boxing ring? Is it a cage?
We are actually working with this really great company to build a fight structure, to build a little, it's kind of a cage in a way, but it's something new. It's something really cool, which fits with the whole idea of what we're trying to do with the Pillow Fight League is something new and something really cool. So.
And you mentioned weight classes too, so I don't know if you've finalized what those weight classes are going to be, but, like in mixed martial arts, it's straw weight, bantamweight, flyweight,
featherweight.
Yeah, those are the weight classes that women usually fight in. So will it be similar in PFL?
Well, I'm sure we have to have a featherweight.
Well, yeah, pillows do have feathers, so it would be kind of a good gimmick.
But apart from that, that's still things we're working out.
I understand. Well, I've monopolized the conversation so far, and I've got a bunch more questions, but I want to give Jason and Jordan a chance too. So, Jason, you go first.
Sure, I was just checking out some of these clips on YouTube, and yeah, like what you were saying, it's like one of the first things I saw was a woman put a pillow down and just start wailing into the pillow with her fists, and at first I didn't know she was hitting the pillow until you mentioned that rule. I went back and looked and said, okay, yeah, that is one of the clever things that can be done. With your reboot, are you looking to go for pinfalls, submissions, or is this strictly going to be knockout only?
I think we're going to that's one of the things that we're adopting from the old league is the old league had pinfall, submissions, decisions, and knockout, and I think we're going to keep those.
Yeah, that was something interesting. It's like if you haven't seen a lateral press involving a pillow, it's truly something to see. I'm
a wrestling fan from, when I was still a toddler, growing up on the old matches with Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and whatnot. And the characters I was always drawn to were like the Scary Sherrys and Miss Elizabeth, the girls. So the idea of running an all-female combat sport league just really resonated with me. So now I get my army.
Awesome stuff, indeed.
There is a crowdfunding campaign going on, which is part of the reason we're having you on, and it's part of the reason I've heard you on some other shows. So I want you to tell everybody about that, where you're at right now in the crowdfunding, and how long you have to reach your goal.
So we've got about 20 days or 19 days left to reach our goal, and we're doing pretty well, but we definitely need some help. And, even $5 a dollar is a big help. Obviously there are better perks the more you donate. There are a lot of perks that are geared towards our Toronto audience because our first event will be in Toronto. But, it's worth the drive. And even if you can't make the Toronto show, there's a number of other perks that are great for people who don't live nearby. And, the old league toured, we are hoping to tour. So, if we can get this off the ground, because right now we just need the seed capital for our first fight. We expended all of our resources buying the league, and now we're hoping to recoup some of that so we can put on the biggest and best show we can. And we love to tour and bring this amazing sport around the world. So if you guys want to donate, you can go to bringbackthepfl.com.
Very good. About those rewards, I mean, what is it? Hats, t-shirts, DVD copies of the shows, used pillows? What all can people get?
You can get the used pillows. That's definitely a perk. You could buy advance tickets to the show. You can buy VIP tickets to the show, which guarantees you ringside seats, and you get to come to the after party that I'm throwing. There's buttons, there's t-shirts, there's, like I said earlier, those closed off, first fights that are pre-show that, we're going to work some stuff out. There's tickets to that. So there's a lot of great perks on there.
What is the recruitment process for bringing in the athletes to Pillow Fight League? Like, say somebody listening to it right now says, I'm an athlete, I'm in good shape, and I want to be a part of this sports revolution. How can she get into Pillow Fight League?
She can go to jointhepsl.com and fill out a questionnaire. We'll be holding open tryouts in November, and from there we're going to set our athletes up with some trainers and get them going. We've got some of the old fighters, some of the best fighters actually from the old league that are interested in coming back, and we've got a couple of some new people we're talking to that really look promising. So we've already started on our search for the first 6 fighters, but we're hoping to build a really, really impressive roster of some crazy talented female athletes.
I like the sound of that. Now, will there be contract exclusivity with Pillow Fight League? Like, can somebody work for you guys and then still go out and wrestle on the independents or take MMA fights, or do they have to stay strictly in PFL?
I really don't think we'll do contract exclusivity. That's something I'd have to talk to with my managing director, as far as rules go, because he's the one kind of working on the contract side, all the nuts and bolts. But I don't see any reason why someone who wants to fight can't fight and do cross promotion. I think it's great to get someone who's already on the fight circuit on our roster, and I think it's great that they want to go out and do other things. Ultimately, we'd like to empower our fighters to be as successful as they possibly can and get the exposure and get the money everywhere they can. We want to make sure our women do well. We're trying to build a sport where it's woman focused and we take care of our fighters.
I agree. That sounds great to me, but it is, of course, inherently risky if you allow the fighters in PFL to compete elsewhere, and say you've got a big main event, a grudge match booked between your 2 top stars, and one of them gets hurt working for somebody else, then your main event could be left up in the air.
You know what? That's a good point. And again, that's something I'd have to talk to with my managing director. So.
All right. Well, that's fair. I want to give the guys another chance to get in a round of questions. So, Jason, I'll go to you again.
Sure. You kind of got the first one where I was going to say, yeah, if there were professional wrestlers who were interested in joining the PFL, would you let them? And I kind of go with your first answer. At this point, the cross promotion would be good. It's kind of a good problem to have if one of your cross promotion stars gets injured. It's easier to fill in than it is to have somebody come in and do cross promotion. So one of those things where you cross that bridge when you come to it. I know you're looking at it as a shoot league, but it's like kind of get these brainstorming ideas. Like, would you do things from wrestling, like maybe have a 3-way dance pillow fight or a battle royal pillow fight or tag team pillow fights, things like that?
Well, anything is possible. At this point, it's a matter of just kind of trying everything and seeing what works. So I like the idea of a battle royal type pillow fight. I think that could be really, really entertaining. But if we end up doing that, I'll credit you.
There you go. Great way to crown a number 1 contender.
I think so. Yeah, maybe. It might be something to look into. We're trying a lot of stuff in those first couple of secret fights that we're going to do, and we're going to see what works best.
Awesome. I'll be looking forward to that and seeing how that develops in your league. Jordan, did you have any additional questions?
Oh, no, I just want to say that this is really a cool project that you're working on. I'm checking out the website right now. I did some research on it, and I'm really interested in the idea, and it seems like really cool, and I wish you guys all the best with it.
Thank you so much.
Well, Brandy, before we let you go, I also want to talk a little bit about you, since Jason brought up the fact that he found you in the Star Trek uniform. You've done some cosplaying. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about that?
I've done a lot of things. I've worked behind the camera on a few productions. I've written some feminist columns for a magazine called Missy Inc. And, I've got a couple of articles in a book called Secret Loves that Margaret Atwood is a part of, coming up. So I like focusing on writing and producing. That's more my passion. The modeling is just something I've done to gain a little bit of extra cash, and the cosplaying is just because I'm passionate about comic books and video games. So.
Well, that's understandable. I think I speak for everybody on the line right now when I say we're passionate about video games and sci-fi and things like that too. And I've seen over the years, I've been to some really cool cons and seen some really excellent cosplay. So some people think it's about sexualizing somebody when they're dressed up like their favorite character. But for me, it's about how close can you make the costume? How accurate can you be with it? How much fun can you have portraying that character?
Yeah. And that's usually what I go into. I tend to cosplay very, very powerful characters because that's what I'm drawn to. And one of my favorite characters, I'm covered from head to toe. I don't know if you've seen the TV series Angel, but it's Illyria.
Oh yes. Yeah, I know the series Angel well. I was a fan of Buffy and Angel.
I'm a huge Whedon fan.
Yeah, we're all in the Whedonverse here, so sorry, go on.
Amazing. And I have a pretty killer Illyria costume. It's what made me originally decide to dye my hair blue because I love her so much.
That is fantastic, yeah. Now, have you ever done Supergirl, or since you love women of power, I would think Wonder Woman would be a perfect choice.
I've done Wonder Woman. I've done Jean Grey in most of her iterations, so Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, the Black Queen. I've done Emma Frost. I'd love to do a She-Hulk cosplay. I'm the right size for it because I'm 6 feet tall.
Nice, yeah. What about Rogue? Have you ever done Rogue?
I've done Rogue, yeah.
Awesome.
Recently, actually.
That is fantastic. I love people who are passionate about cosplay and spend a lot of time developing the costumes. And I think people who hear about this, they maybe don't understand. It's hundreds of hours of work to make and perfect the costume. This isn't just something you go, like, around Halloween time, they have these stores that pop up that sell costumes. You can't just go to a store and buy an outfit for cosplay. You gotta actually craft it and create it.
Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, making homemade armor is really a pain in the butt.
Do you buy that, like, 1/4-inch foam that you layer up and then sculpt?
Warbler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what most of the cosplayers I know do, and it's meticulous, painstaking work.
Yep, and you burn yourself with heat guns. I also use a moldable plastic called thermomorph, and you just kind of dump it in water and mold it together and then make something out of it. So
in a way,
there's lots of tips and tricks.
Yeah, in a way, I think the easiest way for people to understand this if they don't know cosplaying would be watch a few episodes of Mythbusters when they're making molds for things, because that is a similar process. There is a lot of sculpting, there is a lot of pouring, there's a lot of shaping and heat treating, and just like you said, they get burned a lot doing this stuff. It's hard work and it's dangerous.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun, and it's fun to see when people put their passion into it and create something really amazing. That's why I love going to cons, is when people are passionate about it, it shows in their costumes. Like, I've seen entire groups of people that are all together from one show. Like Daredevil, I saw somebody do Kingpin, and then I saw Daredevil standing next to him. I'm like, either you two were planning this together, or you just have amazing costumes, because they look like they stepped right off the show.
Oh yeah, and then some of the Groot cosplayers last year when Guardians of the Galaxy came out were just insane. Like, people are so creative. I have a lot of friends that are cosplayers and much better at it than I am. and it's just amazing what they can come up with.
I have yet to see any cosplay for Guardians of the Galaxy at any of the cons I've been to, but I would love to. I want to see Gamora and Drax the Destroyer and Star-Lord all just walk in together. I would lose my shit. I would be so happy.
I've seen some great Gamoras, actually.
I want to see a Drax, because I mean, to really pull that off, you'd have to be a pretty big, muscular guy.
Yeah, you can build muscles out of Wardla.
That's
and
true.
There's a perfect example of a wrestler who's made his way onto, like, who knew Batista was that funny?
Oh yeah, he slayed in that movie when he said, I'm trying to explain, he takes everything literally, like, my reflexes are too fast, nothing goes over my head. I just started howling with laughter in the theater.
Especially as a wrestling fan, when you've seen him cut promos and whatnot, and this character is so completely different and so deadpan. He was so fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. I'm so looking forward to the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I can't wait for it to come out.
Me too. It's my favorite out of all of the Marvel movies so far.
It was fantastic. But Brandy, I know our time is running short with you, so I want to give you a chance to get in some more plugs for the crowdfunding, for social media, so people can follow this, and anything else you want to say about Pillow Fight League.
For sure. Thank you so much. So again, our crowdfunding campaign is bringbackthepfl.com, and we really, really need your help. If you want to try out for the PFL, we're also looking for people to officiate and ref and that sort of thing. It's jointhepfl.com. We are on Twitter at the PFL, on Instagram at the PFL, and you can find us on Facebook if you just search the official Pillow Fight League. We'll come up.
All right. Well, Brandy, thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight for this interview. I hope the crowdfunding campaign is successful. I hope everybody listening kicks in a few dollars right now and helps bring back the PFL.
Thank you so much, guys.
You bet. It was our pleasure. And after the crowdfunding campaign and then it's back, maybe we'll have you again and talk some more about the first show.
For sure. And I'll make sure that you guys have front row seats if you want to come up.
Well, Jordan is in Winnipeg, so maybe he can make the drive over to Toronto.
Most definitely. That opportunity is always in the open, so I might actually just have to check it out.
All right.
Awesome.
So thanks again, Brandy, and we'll be talking to you down the road.
All right. Talk soon.
Bye-bye. All right, gentlemen, Brandy Dawley from the Pillow Fight League. A great interview here on Thursday night AMP.
Boldly going where no pillow has gone before.
Indeed.